not only am I coming with the gags, I'm coming with the truth.
Who is your favorite One Piece YouTuber?
I literally wrote a letter and sent it to the 4Kids offices. Like, do not do this. Here's why the technology is actually at a point where we could reasonably achieve a good version of this.
Who is your favorite character to write for, and why is it Sanji?
Have I been involved in season 2? Yeah. And it's awesome.
You were not lying. You were not lying about bringing the truth.
No lies.
Meet Randy Troy. As both a prominent One Piece YouTuber and writer for Netflix's One Piece live-action adaptation, Randy's living the dream. But how did he get here? In this episode, Randy takes us through his childhood as an anime fan to being a part of bringing his favorite series to live action. How he's created opportunities for his passions and work to align, and so much more. So set sail with us as we navigate the interview waters with our guest, Randy Troy. Randy. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here in studio today. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for the invite.
The first thing I said to you when you got here is that you look good because you look too good.
Gotta stay certified.
Randy, we have 3 segments that we're going to do on this show today. Childhood, adulting in anime, and then a game, a challenge. Not a challenge today. It's more of a game that we have planned and prepared for you. So let's just get into our first segment, childhood, where we're going to ask you some questions about your youth. What was the anime that started it all for you?
Probably Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball?
Yeah. I mean, it would air on random channels like right before going to school and all that. It had a terrible dub. I don't know. You guys remember that one?
I remember Dragon Ball.
As a lot did back in the day.
Yeah, so I'd be getting ready for school and then, just watching Tien get his arm, lobbed off, and then I'm yelling like, "You just wait till it grows back." Nappa's blowing up people. It's like, "Oh, don't worry, I could see their parachutes."
When you were younger, you said that you watched a lot of these shows just like on TV, but when you finally did start getting into anime, because I figure we're around the same age, I feel like. And you don't have to say your age, but...
You said it like you don't know. You're
Randy's deceptively young. I don't know. I just feel like I look a lot younger than I am. I'm 34.
Okay, we're the same age.
We're the same age. Okay, good. That would have been really embarrassing. How did you have to watch anime when you were younger?
Oh, I mean, it was, Kazaa and LimeWire all day.
LimeWire, oh my God.
That was that. I remember, what was it? Even when I was first getting into One Piece, it was, the HK subs where, oh man, they just had the worst translations and names for everybody. What was it? It was like Usopp was Liar Boo.
Oh my God.
It was Rufy, Sauron for Zoro, and it just had a whole bunch of really. Anyway, it was really hard to get into it until I eventually found Kaisuke fan subs, and then was like, oh wow, this is amazing, and then I joined up with them. But I was downloading things from Kazaa and LimeWire, and because it took literal days to get an episode, I actually was watching One Piece in it was skipping episodes, and I was really relying on the previously on, because I was just there's no other way to absorb this,
right? So
let's see, does this get good?
Yeah.
And then eventually they had the I forget, there was some sort of anime magazine, I can't remember, but it would come with DVDs of,
I think I remember that,
of trial anime and stuff like that. I got into Full Metal Panic that way. Those, it would have both sub and dub on the DVD, which was really neat. There's definitely Toonami, was a big thing. That's how I got into Outlaw Star, which is still one of my favorites. Eventually, as you start getting into 2003, 2004, 2005, it was all just downloading fan subs, and fan subs started to really branch out, and they were getting good. Right. And you'd have karaoke font attack names and things, and Bleach was coming out weekly, Full Metal Alchemist, the first version, was coming out weekly. That was all stuff that I was absorbing, and this sometimes not even waiting for a fan sub to tackle it. I was just watching the raw.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I
You're like, when they translate this, I'll get into it. I'll know what's happening.
I think there was all a period of time where we all thought we like knew Japanese, where we're like, I can understand most of what's going on. Now.
If I try hard enough.
Yeah.
This random store down the street from me when I was, growing up in Manhattan, where they would get these bootleg VHSs of like anime and like especially Dragon Ball Z. And I remember I was probably like in 6th grade at the time or something, and I got like this VHS of the beginning of the trunks part of the Android Saga, where he completely obliterates Frieza.
Yeah.
And it was insane because it was like the Namek arc was still like just airing slowly, and I was just like, oh wow. So I was like going to school and I was like, oh, I had this like holy grail of like no one else knew about this, and like people were coming over to the apartment and like watching this, and it was completely uncut too, so you're seeing like Trunks like.
That's true. It was censored in the West.
So funny. It's like everyone like just assumes like, does Randy have porn? Is he like doing a porn ring? And they're
I'm
like,
here for the porn. And someone was like, porn? We're watching anime.
We're watching Dragon Ball. Get the fuck out.
Right. Yeah.
It's just something about a group of young boys
I know, that's why
all
it's so
going
funny.
over to another boy's house.
But I love it.
To watch a VHS.
I love that. I love that so much. It's like, we're watching Dragon Ball. It's so funny.
Right. I look back on the 4Kids dub fondly. The One Piece dub.
I don't.
A lot. It's hit or miss. It's 50-50.
Well, the thing is I was a fan before the 4Kids dub. So as it was airing, I was cringing and I knew what it was actually supposed to be. So it's like as Luffy is pulling off, these rubberized darts that Don Krieg has shot at him.
Right.
It's like I'm remembering, no, he actually got impaled by these things and was giving a really excellent speech. And the only thing that was, that's still fun is the rap. Like, the opening that they did for it is iconic. But what they actually did to the show, turning Laboon into an iceberg, skipping Little Garden completely, it was all just a cash grab to get to Chopper. Like they skipped. By the time they got to episode 80, whatever it is, they had already cut like 30 something episodes of content just to get there. And it's like, so I can't, in good conscience, whether or not there are people, watching this that, can look at it fondly and say like, hey, that's what got me into it. Yeah. That's great. But let's do it right.
What, if any, was your childhood husbando or waifu?
I don't know. I've never really been part of like the husbando or waifu thing. I just watch it. Like, there are characters that I like, but I don't know. There's a separation between like the veil of the cartoon and real life in that sense. So I don't want to say it in like a way that's like I lusted for any sort of character. Right.
Megan takes her freaking all her body pillows and sets them on fire.
Me either. Wrap it up, bro. Okay.
No, and there's nothing wrong with that, and I don't mean that in any sort of way to come off mean or
No.
I always find myself gravitating to female characters a lot of the time as like some of my favorite characters. This also comes from like just in feature film also. Like all of my favorite movies are, like Terminator, like Sarah Connor, like, it's Alien, Ripley, all that stuff. So there's a lot of, that's why I really liked Full Metal Panic, because there was a lot of really like just strong females in that show. Vivi is my favorite character in One Piece.
Yeah.
And when I was watching Dragon Ball Z, like
Bulma,
Videl, and it's like I was always more interested in like the more human characters, especially in like, and that goes for like anything. Like if there's like some sort of sorcery or any sort of power or something like that, like I'm always more interested in the character that has a little more adversity.
Yeah.
Someone that isn't powerful. Like I loved all of the humans in Dragon Ball rather than any of the Saiyans. That made watching the later parts of that show very difficult because it was all about the Saiyans.
Yeah.
But it's just so that's kind of where I'm at.
Were you ever embarrassed being an anime fan as a kid? Because it's a different world that we live in now.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say not when I was really young and when I was because eventually I left Manhattan and I moved to the suburbs. But when I was in Manhattan, like it was actually like a completely different culture. It was like all coming out, like, it was like those VHS days and kind of stuff like that. Like it was cool in New York to be a fan of like Dragon Ball and like all of this stuff. And then when I moved to the suburbs, it suddenly was like not cool to be like a fan of anything like that. So it went from like being at the the top of like the the hierarchy of like the school classroom thing to like immediately like being ostracized. And it's like, but I loved it so much that it didn't matter. Like I just kind of like I kept embracing it, found friends that actually like really were on the same page with me with that. And then I would say, like, we're talking about adulting and anime, like as I started getting into adulthood, I would say that for a while it was only in recent years, in the past like I don't know, 5 to 8 years or whatever, that I started like embracing it as a part of more of like my public image. And then I would say like there was an element where from college until my late 20s that it was like a secret part of me. And, it wasn't something that I talked about, while I was like going around the country working on movie sets and all this stuff. It wasn't like I had no one really to talk to about these things. And like the forum world of like being on the internet and talking about the stuff, it kind of like faded in a way, and just kind of dealing with adult things. So it's like, unless I saw someone that was wearing a One Piece shirt or wearing some sort of anime shirt or anything like that, like I wouldn't normally just strike up a conversation. It made it very difficult.
Yeah.
Until I kind of decided like, hey, you know what? I kind of like got more in touch with my younger self, did a whole rewatch of One Piece when, with Chrissy. And
that's cool.
That kind of like reinvigorated things. I mean, I've always kept up with different anime and manga series. Like I never like took a break from say One Piece or anything like that. I was always reading it weekly. It was always like, oh wow, it's it's One Piece day.
Yeah.
But I felt like it was a part of myself that I needed to to kind of hide. And then now I have the YouTube channel, and it's like that was my way of getting it out there and putting myself out there in a way that would like naturally grab it on. It was never, and it was also, even when I was making the YouTube channel in the first place, I never promoted it like on my own like social media or anything like that. I never said, hey, family and friends, like come and subscribe to me, because it's like that doesn't help me. Like unless you actually like what I'm talking about or anything, like I need this to find its own natural audience. And I'm lucky enough to say that like was able to build a really great community where now we get to talk about this stuff, and I get to embrace this image that lied dormant for a while. And then now I'm happy to have it be part of my, persona and public image again.
Thank you for opening up.
Yeah.
I feel connected to you now.
I know. You guys are like kindred spirit.
Yeah.
I see the sparks flying.
It's the blue eyes.
Yeah.
It's his blue
You're
eyes.
getting lost. I'm like, oh, I see them.
Yeah, no, it's
I'm a nerd.
Feels good, huh? Feels
I've
good to
always
say it.
been one.
We're going to switch over to our adulting in anime portion of the episode. And for this, we're going to be doing a bit of a costume change. Nothing crazy. We don't want to throw you off. It's nothing crazy. Okay, so it's just going to take 2 minutes, but we're going to keep everything rolling while we do it.
Yeah.
So I'll be right back.
Ashton Kutcher's not going to come out. Don't worry.
You can open your eyes now. Welcome to the adult section of the episode.
But we get serious.
You guys are definitely standing on business right now.
Thank you, dude.
Thank you.
Thank you. I also don't know if you noticed, Randy, but behind you is a water cooler. Just like we're at the office right now, we are there's no water in there. We have to tell everybody this. You can just mime getting some water.
Whoa, that was magic.
That was movie magic.
There we go.
We're just hanging out by the water cooler,
Yeah.
shooting the shit
Yeah.
while we get into some of these questions that are more about what's going on in your life and career now.
You guys see that? You guys see that One Piece last night?
Who is your favorite One Piece YouTuber?
I got to go with Jay.
That's probably the only right answer.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's great, but
the entertainment value, even with the toxicity, it's like he knows how to do it right.
okay, you passed that one.
Yeah, we edit it like volume 1.
Yeah, volume
Perfect.
Who is your favorite One Piece YouTuber?
Volume 1.
Thank you.
Getting a little more real, what was it like having to stay quiet during the strikes while people continued to comment about your decision to not cover or react to OPLA stuff?
It was tough. My community was like, a lot of it was built on the hype of the show. Like being able to like round everybody in with the videos of like, how could this work? Here's why this would be good. Here's why the technology is actually at a point where we could reasonably achieve a good version of this. Why the people involved are the right people to to handle this, and then for the strike to happen and limit the ability to forget me talking about it, but it's like Matt not being able to do press, Emily and Yaki, the cast, this is like their big moment. They spent not only 9 months shooting, but all of the time in prep, before that.
Yeah.
And then it was like, here it is. Now it's out. It's #1 show. And it wasn't just One Piece that, God, that felt this. It was a lot of different shows that had come out at that time. And I feel like there are probably some shows out there that failed because they didn't have the press that was necessary. Mm-hmm. So it's like, whereas One Piece had the ability to achieve a certain height because of the worldwide popularity of the IP. The strike needed to happen. We needed to get it into the minds of the studios. I'm more upset with of course, with the studios, with just how long they decided to prolong everything.
Mm-hmm. It resulted in like a pretty big W for writers. I feel like there's still things that could be worked on, obviously, but I mean, it was a pretty big win, I think, for the industry.
It, for someone like me that, even though I've been working in the industry for a long time, like I'm still pretty early in the career of everything. And it's like, what the writers won allows for a, hopeful sense of longevity, because the streaming platform as itself, in itself, generated a lot of issues. You used to make your money from advertising. Not many of these streaming platforms have advertising. So it's like, where's the money coming from? Where is it going?
And a lot of them were limited series, as opposed to like these like ongoing, long syndicated television series where writers would get royalties. It'd be like a 8-episode series that would never, come on again.
Yeah.
No, and that's the thing too. Like writers used to make a lot more money than they do now, because they would work on 22, 23, 24 episodes of a show, and now it's 8 episodes, and it's not like it's not often the case that it's like, oh, the same money that would have been spread across that is that. It's like, no, these studios are trying to save money. Mm-hmm. So it's like, can we do this in 8?
Right.
Can we do this way? Can we do this for this amount? And that poses a problem because everybody wants to do their art. So there's going to be concessions. Mm-hmm. And the studios know that they can exploit those concessions. So it's kind of like, it was just a lot of things where it's like, hey, can we make this a viable career for people? Can we return this not only to the art aspect of it, but make it so that people can live also? Mm-hmm. And I think that we're at a point where, as these new regulations and things kind of fold into everything, I think we can get there.
I think you're in an interesting situation as a writer and as a YouTuber, because you have a relationship with your community and your audience that is very personal, and they have almost a direct line of communication through like comments and social media, like to you. So I'm sure it was frustrating to a degree, right? When a lot of your audience maybe didn't understand like the logic of of everything that was happening.
Oh, absolutely. And I definitely got a bunch of angry messages and things like people saying, oh, I'm not following you because you're not covering the thing. And it's like, okay, but at the same time, if you're not going to follow me because I'm not covering one particular thing, then are you really a part of my community for the right reasons to begin with?
The answer is no.
Yeah.
The answer is no.
Spoiler alert, the answer is no.
Yeah. So it's like, I love my community. I love it. Like everything that, that we built, the core members, all of the members, everybody that comes in, people that, come in when they want. Like it doesn't matter. It's one of those things. It's like, I don't know, it's like owning or running a bar or a restaurant. Come in, you got the regulars that are gonna sit down, and then every once in a while someone else will walk in and it'd be like, oh man, hey, what's up? You're here.
Yeah,
cool, good to see you. So like I love the feel of that, and I had a lot of people that were supportive that did get it. And for the people that didn't, which I would say was a bigger number than probably should have been.
Yeah.
That's what I think was frustrating.
I was frustrated just watching it all go down. I was like,
yeah.
And then the minute you were like, hey guys, I couldn't say anything because, and then they were like running back. They're like, I'm coming, never mind, I'm your number one fan.
They're like, Randy, we never doubted
how
you.
frustrated. I would have been frustrated during that time, but I would have been even more frustrated after with all the people saying like, oh, I'm back because you're doing the thing that I like now.
That's one of those things. Like, yes, have I been involved in season 2? Yeah, and it's awesome. But I definitely would have loved to share that with the community. But had I told them that, then that would be revealing that there was a season 2 in the first place. And what Oda did is way better than anything I would have put on my channel. Having the snail there and saying that it was coming and all that, but
the
it's
chopper
like,
drawing and
everything. Yeah, exactly. Like if I said anything, like that would have completely neutered that.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was, it's one of those things. And I mean, it's things that I've had to deal with throughout the, my time in the industry for a long time. It's like I knew the end of Endgame, years before the movie came out, not because I really wanted to, but because I was working on Marvel stuff that was like, oh, this is the impact of this thing that's going to happen at the end of this movie. And it's like, okay, gotta keep my mouth shut there.
But I think the difference is like you didn't have a big YouTube following where you talked about Marvel. You know what I mean? Like this was, you're in such an interesting situation. Like it's crazy to me to have to navigate that. You know what I mean? Like it must have been so difficult, you know what I mean? To navigate at times.
Yeah. And, another thing that was like, hard. And I mean, Chrissy and I had talked about it also. It's like one of the big aspects, that I really loved about my community in the first place was just like having open and honest discussions. And like, now I have to kind of tailor myself a little bit. I mean, I'm still open and honest, and I like anything that I don't hold back when I'm talking about, chapters and things like that. But there are things that like, I just can't talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine because, again, without giving anything away, there are characters that come back in the manga, and they are characters that should, the events of season 2 should cover, their arc, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I can't imagine, like, how you would have to sit on a live stream. It's not even something you can edit out, and you'd have to not give like too much away.
You're just telling on yourself because you have a very big problem with spoiling things. I feel like you would just be like not be able to say anything. You have a very bad poker face.
Yeah.
Well, I think it also comes from it's really difficult because I want to talk with people about things, of course, but it's also really easy because I don't like spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
I've never liked spoilers. And, it's very easy for me to just say, I don't want to spoil it for you. Let everybody cook.
Yeah.
Wait to see what happens. And I would rather people see teasers, trailers, or watch the actual episode than me say, hey, this happens.
Who was your favorite character to write for on the One Piece series? And why is it Sanji, Randy?
I'm gonna pass that.
Okay, fair. That is fair.
When it comes out, then we can talk about things.
Okay,
like that.
All right, deal.
What is your least favorite One Piece theory?
I know I was against the idea that Momonosuke would age up. I had to take that L.
I mean, I got a whole book of them back here. It's a tough question.
It is. There's so many.
It's a tough question. I mean, like what are some of yours, and maybe it'll like jog mine.
One of my favorite theories that I think is there's no way it's true at all, but I enjoy hearing it and I want it to be true, even though it wouldn't really make sense. That Im is actually a tontata, and the crown or the straw hat that we saw him standing beside, or them standing beside, is actually not a giant straw hat. It is a regular size straw hat, but it looks giant because he's a tontata.
That's crazy. I've never heard of that. I've never heard that. I've never once considered that. I really thought that you were going to say that they were a tontata, but then they were actually like 50 tontata in a coat. Standing on
so
top
you
of
were
each
even
other.
taking it. You were taking it.
Yeah,
further.
as you were saying it, I was like, oh man, is this the, because Otis already put that in the story with Sabo and the ASL flashback.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a famous like trope and all that.
How do you feel about that one?
I mean, I don't hate it,
Okay.
but I don't see that happening.
But I don't like it very much. I do not like it very much. I would say maybe one of my least, maybe because it was just shoved down our throats when we first started reading One Piece. But the Croc Mom theory. I know there's a lot of people that enjoy it, but
Oh yeah, you know what? Actually, that is one of my least favorites.
see,
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's just the amount of people that are like, this has to be true, or just it just doesn't make any sense to me.
I feel like it's a meme that got out of control.
It's not something that I want. It's not something that I think is true. If it happened, it's definitely Oda like leaning into the fact that he would know that it is a meme. But that's why I was saying on my channel that it would be funny if S Croc, whatever that ends up turning out to be, like has a Von Kauf's fruit.
Yes.
And is able to like gender swap. And that's like that's how you get your cake and eat it too.
I even thought it was kind of crazy how many people were buying into the fact, and I still don't know. And again, I don't know what you can and can't answer, or what you even know and don't know. But in season 1, when there was that person that was in the crowd, that I don't know if it was just a coincidence, or if someone like Matt, who loves the show and is in the series and is in the community, if he was like, let's just put that in there to kind of like give people something to speculate on or theorize about,
Yeah.
To my knowledge, that is just an extra. I guess we'll have to see who we cast as Crocodile.
I guess we will. It's so funny because we did a power scaling top 30 recently, and you said something that I really connected to, and I feel like some people were giving you a little bit of shit for it, but I genuinely connected to it. And you said, I don't really power scale, I narrative scale. And I am more inclined to agree with that than I am
Correct.
power scale.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the person that's going to win a fight is the person that Oda wants them to win, and the person that makes sense for the win.
Yeah.
Or sometimes even the most interesting person to win. I'm not a power scaler. It's like I come into those streams and stuff, and if you invite me into those things, like, you better be ready, because I'm coming with I'm not only am I coming with the gags, I'm coming with the truth.
Yeah.
Damn. You should have that on a shirt.
I'm coming with the gags.
I'm coming with the
And
truth.
I'm coming with the truth.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And I'm all out of gags.
Ooh.
Hey.
Let's go.
Damn. I love that.
Yeah, that's why I was like, all right, top one of the verse, Shark Teeth Nami.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Who's stopping that? Oda will always have Shark Teeth Nami beat the guys.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
That's true, though. That is very true, though.
Fact.
You're right in that, like, I also, like, join those streams because I like the people in them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I want to have a good time. And I think everybody in them thinks and feels similarly. But it's just so funny because it doesn't, I think that's the kind of one of the flaws of power scaling. I get the appeal. I get that it's fun and people enjoy it. But you're so right that at the end of the day, it's going to be whatever serves the story best. And it might not have anything to do with abilities and powers that we've seen so far.
Yeah, people got they were up in arms when I put Dory and Brogy on there.
Yeah.
And this was like, I guess the chapter had come out with them already being there, but they were already on my list.
Right.
And it's like, these are characters that we were bound to, run into again. We're going to be a big part of Elbath. And it's like anything from the early parts of the story, like these characters are going to come back and they're going to do things. And it's going to actually like warp and blow the minds of power scalers, because they're going to try and compare it to pre-time skip feats and not realize that these characters were always intended to be this strong, because Oda only wanted the story to be 5 years. So all of these characters at the beginning of the story are actually the pinnacle of One Piece, at the top of everything. And they're the ones that are going to circle back around. People like Crocodile, people like Dory and Brokey. And it's like, now Dory and Brokey are going to go up against Gorosei. Like, come on, like this is, but meanwhile, Mr. 3 like whacks them, right? So then everybody's just like, it doesn't matter. Yeah. It's about the narrative. It's about the story. These people, there are top tiers in this world that they're going to get their due.
You said that during the stream. You had said the same thing during the stream. And I have not been able to shake that since you said it, because it is appearing to me to be only more and more true with like each chapter that comes out. Paying attention to those characters that were introduced in that initial 5-year sort of like span, and remembering that those characters are going to be the most important characters by the end of the story. And I loved when you said that. I had never heard anybody else say that, and I haven't been able to shake it since. And I almost kind of like view and read the story through that now, and I totally see it. It's there. Like that's the truth. You were not lying. You were not lying about bringing the truth.
No lies.
A good story is full circle.
Yes.
So the only way to go full circle in a final saga is to circle back to the beginning.
Damn, dude. Fuck, marry, kill.
I thought you were just proclaiming. You're like,
that's what I
fuck,
thought
what's
too.
the next question?
I was like, fuck.
Period.
So deep. So deep.
Zoro, Sanji, Luffy. Shouldn't be this hard.
Pass.
Should it be this hard?
Pass. You can't pass this one. This is harmless. But it does matter, and it is important, and we need to know.
It does matter. It's important, and there's a follow-up question immediately after that we also need to know.
Yeah. You're really committing to the past.
I've never thought about this in my life.
Okay, you can pass. I feel bad now.
Okay, you can do the next one though.
Okay, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna ask it to you though.
Oh no, that's too real. Actually.
Next question is the same question. Fuck, marry, kill. Inyaki, Makenyu, or Taz.
Pass. Pass.
All I know is that Taz Skylar made me fall in love with the character of Sanji in a way that I never knew I could.
It's true.
I just think it must be such a crazy feeling to be, we've gone through like your experience as an anime fan from a young age to like now. And you've accomplished so much. Like you've built this community, this YouTube channel. You're working as a writer on this live action anime series. You worked on so many things, but like, I imagine that this series feels so different. Like this is something so much more special, I guess.
It definitely is special. And I said it more eloquently in a tweet or something, but it's like, it's really great when, your passions and your work align. And then not only that, but then you get to align those passions with like really excellent people too. So that's the fun aspect. But I've actually been really blessed, like as far as like being able to give back to things that mean something to me. And I've kind of like chased that my entire career. My favorite movie is Terminator. And in 2014, I worked on Terminator Genesis.
That's great.
And I really went out of my way to like make that happen, and it worked and it manifested, and that was great. My favorite superhero is Batman, and I worked on Dark Knight Rises. I did multiple seasons of Gotham. It's also something that I wear in a way like if an artist like gives something to me, like I want to feel like I can give back. I hate when the scales are imbalanced. So it's like now being able to contribute to One Piece and the way that it can be received here when things like 4Kids ruin that. It is special, and it's like I remember I've mentioned this on my channel before. It's like when I was I don't know what 2003 or whenever it was announced that 4Kids was going to get it. I don't remember how old I was, probably around 13 or something. And it literally wrote a letter and sent it to the 4Kids offices. Like, do not do this. Like,
that's amazing. I love that.
Do not do this. Like, what you did to Yu-Gi-Oh, what you did to Pokemon, like all this stuff. Like, you cannot do this. This show is way too adult for what you're trying to do. I never got a response.
Yeah,
I never got a response. But here, when it comes to the show in itself, like I'm a cog in a larger machine. And it's a lot of individuals putting in their ideas, and I'm just happy to have been a part of that machine and to because it's like this. I believe that this show has the ability to and has already, and I don't just mean the live action. I mean like in general, like as an IP, has changed people's lives, changed people's perspectives, made people better. Given people the inspiration to go after their dreams, to do what they want to do. And I fully believe, and why I was, an early champion of this show in the first place years ago, was this is something that I feel people need.
I also think it's so inspiring that you said that you like chase things that you cared about, that meant something to you. Because a writer can get a job that is a job, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But
and granted, those other things that I worked on, like I wasn't writing them.
Right.
I was like literally like bottom of the totem pole, just doing assistant work. I spent a lot of time working on sets in various departments, and realistically taking jobs for the opportunity to give back to these things, so that it kind of like just fills a almost a check mark, but like a hole here, and like kind of like makes me feel better that I gave back to what meant something to me.
Exactly. I think that's what it is, right? Like you get to play whatever role it is. You get to play a role giving back to this thing that gave you so much. You know what I mean? Like as a kid, I'm like, these things all meant so much to us. So I can't even like imagine how like special that would be. So I just think that no matter like in what capacity you were working on these things, it's so cool that you chased those things that you really did care about.
And it wasn't easy.
I'm sure
it wasn't easy. Like I don't want to ever make it sound like it was easy. It was if I had planted myself somewhere, I would have never had a lot of the opportunities that I had. Like I literally, like for Terminator, like I drove down to New Orleans from the East Coast, Northeast Coast.
Yeah.
And it was, and even then, it's like most of these jobs and everything that I took, like I was living in and out of my car to make these things happen. I would find out where something was, and then I just figured it out, and I went there.
Yeah. All right, Randy, are you ready for our final segment?
Is there another?
There's no more costume change. Well, the costume change is getting out of this. Yeah. It's fucking hot. But I'm not going to get up out of the chair to do it. I'm just going to do this. On your channel, you have a series called Theory for Theory. So we racked our brains thinking, what is something that we could do with Randy in the spirit of that? Mm-hmm. So we have something that I don't want to explain too much more until we go through it, and then it'll make sense.
And then it'll be revealed.
And then it'll make more sense at the end. Almost like what we were talking about with spoilers, I want you to experience it in its final form without giving you too much information. All right, Randy. I'm going to give you a couple prompts, I guess, and I'm going to need you to just give me a word that matches the prompt. I need you to give me any word that starts with the letter D.
And this is supposed to be like One Piece?
Any word that starts with D. First thing that comes to your mind, and keep it PG-13.
Copy that. I feel like I'm in a therapist's office right now.
We're showing you like flash.
It's a Rorschach.
This is a Rorschach test right now. Like how does Randy's mind work? We've talked a lot about Dragon Ball, and it was like Dragon. That was the first thing that came to mind. So why don't we say dragon?
Now I need you to give me an adjective.
Fly.
Fly.
Yeah.
Now a verb.
Be creating a story here.
Maybe.
No.
Maybe.
No.
Flew or flying, whatever.
Okay. A random One Piece character.
Bellamy,
2 Straw Hats.
Vivi and Sanji.
1 more verb.
Dancing,
2 adjectives.
kind, pragmatic.
And then give me a random object.
Camera,
A random food.
water.
If you could use 1 word to sum up One Piece, what would it be?
Meaningful.
And we're done. Randy, what we have just done together is created our own One Piece theory. But not just any One Piece theory, the final theory, the theory of how the entire series will end.
Sensational. Sensational.
And this is 100% true. This is what will happen.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not what will happen, it is what Randy believes will happen.
Copy that. Oda and I'll talk.
If you would like to do the honors, Randy, and read the theory, the floor is yours.
Most important theory that I'll ever do.
He doesn't want to read the first line.
He's like, pass.
He's like,
well, I mean, I feel like the first line could, just putting that on the internet could
okay, you can skip it. You can skip
could
it.
turn into so many different things. Hope you got your popcorn ready. The following is how the story of One Piece will end. Robin will learn and finally tell the crew the meaning of the D, and that it stands for dragon.
Whoa.
Monkey, dragon.
Oh, shit.
I still think that the D is a symbol and not actually a letter. It is a sideways smile.
I'll cut that part out because you don't actually. This is what you actually believe.
Right. This is what I actually believe, that it means dragon, which makes so much sense when looking at the story and its themes as a whole. The Straw Hats will finally arrive to a flying laugh tale.
Skypea, it's all coming back.
Yeah, exactly.
Sky Islands.
Yeah, it's going to be in the sky. That has been nearly destroyed by Eames' devil fruit ability. Well, do we know if that's actually a devil fruit ability or
That's
not?
fair. That's a true. Yeah.
Could be the ancient weapon. We should have been a little more vague.
I should have. I like the notes. I appreciate
Yeah, thank you.
The ability to fly, known as the fly fruit.
I knew it.
For their final battle. Yep, one of the 5 flying devil fruits that Pell talked about in Alabasta. See how it all circles
It
back.
does.
I love it.
And I talk about it all the time, that everything goes back to Alabasta, because that was when we first learned about ancient weapons, when we first learned about the void history, when we first learned and it was the first time that Pell told us that there were only 5 flying devil fruits. And this is one of them right here. Yep.
He's cracked.
Who let you cook, dude? Who let you cook?
Even though I did mean that in the sense of like dressing well. But that's it's actually an interpretation of the fruit in itself, is that it allows Emu to be drippy, and that's why Emu is silhouetted, because they're too fly, and Oda doesn't want us to know that just yet. In said final battle, Luffy will face Bellamy in a fight for the One Piece and the title of Pirate King, which, I mean, that works, because that would be the 3rd battle, and you want to have 1, 2, 3. So this would basically be a situation where Bellamy would arrive. I don't know if it's not gonna be a complete fight. I think at the end they're gonna have to see eye to eye, because that's the evolution.
Right.
You have the 3 stages of their fight. 1, he's an asshole, he's a douche, and he is following the wrong man. So then in the second fight, he knows he's following the wrong man now, but he's got to kind of stick to his guns.
Right.
Then in the 3rd time, realistically, he should be siding with Luffy
Right.
and fighting alongside him to get the One Piece. But if it is a battle for the end, it's because Luffy has inspired him to want to be like Luffy and become the Pirate King. So he's got to go up against this guy who didn't believe in dreams in the first place. And then now, to achieve his dream, take that guy down.
This should have been another game where Randy can make anything into a sound One Piece theory.
Vivi and Sanji.
I knew it was coming.
See, but this is such a deeper, darker layer.
Mm.
Like, you guys don't even understand. My favorite character always dies.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's just. So anyway, Vivi and Sanji die during this battle, protecting their captain and crew. Now, Sanji, big death flags in the story. He smokes death cigarettes. He was ready to throw his life away on numerous occasions. And, if you reread the Baratier with the lens of like, could this character die? You'll find a bunch of different little hints and elements in the dialogue and the way that he talks about certain things. I've brought that up a couple of times. People are always like, no, and I'm like, I don't want it.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
I think that a lot of people subscribe to the Usopp is going to be the one, if any of them do.
Absolutely not. Usopp is us. Usopp is the reader. Oda will never kill Usopp because if he kills Usopp, he's killing us.
Yeah.
But Oda will never do that. Their deaths will shake Luffy to his core, and he will unlock Gear 6. And that will allow him to dance anything in his path, which, I mean, hey, come on. Drums of Liberation.
That's what I was going to say.
It's not far-fetched.
That's what I was going to say.
It's not far-fetched.
Basically, the idea with that would be that that's the awakening of Gear 6, is that it inspires everybody to do the Nika dance. This will allow Luffy to win the battle and finally find the One Piece, which we will learn is a kind, pragmatic camera.
I'd like to see you explain that one.
Well, it is evidence of what happened during the Void Century. Yeah.
And it was in the future. So
they were in the future. So they had like these really advanced cameras that were also sentient like the snails. So that's why they're kind and pragmatic, because they're alive.
I'm scared now. I'm like scared. If you decided to turn your talents towards religion, you'd be dangerous.
Yeah.
If you led a church, if you led a congregation,
I would be sold.
I'd be in the front row. Dude. Hallelujah.
The last chapter will be a huge banquet where everybody will be eating water. This would be like a soluble, solid water.
Gotcha.
That comes from the Old Blue in honor of Sanji because he has just died. So they're eating cubes of water that have the taste of all fish from every sea. The last panel, though, will be a close-up of Luffy saying just one word. A word that sums up their entire adventure, and that word will be meaningful.
That's amazing.
I don't know how he does it.
I honestly thought that it was just going to be this goofy thing that you read, but you actually made it make sense, and I like it now.
I like it way more now.
Yeah.
The layers.
And these are just random words. Randy had no idea what we were doing. He was just giving us random words. No. And you brought it home.
That's also you, because I just filled in blanks. You wrote the rest.
I mean, we tag teamed it. Thank you for letting us get a little bit of credit. And there it is. In all its glory. And Randy, you can keep that, dude.
Oh, yeah.
That's yours.
That's for your personal record.
Yeah, you don't have to keep it. You can throw it away.
He's like, shh.
Yeah. I'll keep it. I mean, we'll keep it. We'll frame it. We'll put it in our book of L's. We have a book of L's, and we'll put it in there.
And then we'll cross off things that
what
were
are you
true
talking
or
about?
not
This
true.
is a W.
No, it is a W. It is a W. It is. And we'll dedicate a section towards the back of the book of L's for W's, and we'll put it there.
Yeah.
We only need one page for W's because...
Well, here it is. Here it is.
Exactly.
That's a dub.
That's
a fat dub. That's a fat dub. Well, Randy, that's it, dude. That's all we had for you today. Thank you again for being here, dude. For talking to us, for sharing, your experience as a childhood fan, talking to us about what you're doing now, playing this what I thought again was going to be a silly game, but was profound. Thank you for playing around with us. And I guess the only thing left to do now is to tell the people know who Randy is. People know. But just in case they don't, tell them where they can find you, what you would like them to do if they're willing to support you in other ways. The floor is yours.
Well, appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for hitting me up. I know that my community has been wanting us to get together for a while. I've wanted you guys to come onto the channel, but I wanted to get it to be a thing where it's the two of us and then Chrissy's involved.
Oh, yeah, that'd be sick.
For everybody else, hi, I'm Randy Troy. We handle some One Piece content over at my channel. We do it every week, even on break weeks.
That's when the Theory for Theory happens, right?
Exactly. Break weeks. We get somebody else from the community to come over and we get to have meaningful discussions about the story and where we think it could go. And that's what it's all about. It's about sharing ideas. And there's deeper layers to everything. You guys can follow me at Randy Troy. It's just my name. Didn't feel like coming up with some sort of wacky internet name. So
Right.
it's just me. I'm me.
It probably works and does the job it's supposed
More
to do.
beneficial.
Yeah, better than having like a crazy goofy name.
I've gotten comments before that are just like, people would probably find you better if you had like a One Piece name.
Randy Troy.
That's what my old wanted poster used to say before the government was like, no, we need to hide the D.
Does ours have?
No,
we're not members of the D clan.
No.
Apparently,
That's special.
Yeah, we're just
No.
regular ass pirates
No,
out
man.
here. But you should check out Randy's channel. I mean, most people who are coming here probably already are subscribed and know what he does over there. But he is, again, an incredible person and voice in the community. Again, he's lending that voice. He's working on this live action series. Like you said, you're a cog in that machine, but we're, I think, so fortunate to have people like you and Matt, everybody that works on that show, but you and Matt who are so like in the community, like for you guys to be a part of that is like a win for everybody. And that's so sick.
Yeah, and it's been so awesome to be there with Matt, and like there's a lot of magic in that room, and I can't wait for everybody to eventually see what manifests from all of that. So support the show, watch season 2 when it's out, whenever that is.
Watch it again. If you've already seen season 1, watch it again. The only thing left now, Randy, is to get out of here on our outro that's always the same and never changes, which does change all the time, and it is a word or a phrase that ties back to something we said in the episode, and we'll all go out on that in unison.
What was it? I said bring the gags.
See, that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about.
That's what we're looking
okay,
for.
I'm here. Oh shit!
I bring the gags and I bring the truth.
And I'm all out of
And I'm all out of gags.
Okay, we got to say the whole thing. Until next time.
Like a Tribe Called Quest.
Yes. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out. And until next time, I bring the gags.
I bring the truth.
And I'm all out of gags.
Yeah,
we did it.
You brought it back again.
Full circle. Yeah, he's good.